Right then. I know it's ads, but we're going to go to Hakkyu. I've got a little list of things here that I wrote down for things that I think probably need to be explained, or at least some of the things that people have asked me about. And that's fine. As I've said on multiple comments and multiple videos and multiple tweets, I am not claiming to be an expert. I am not claiming that I know everything about the game. I just have hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game. Well, hundreds of hours in the previous game. Probably like 100 or so hours in this game now. I would class myself not necessarily you're an expert despite not claiming. No, I'm not the expert. He's a different YouTuber. I'm not saying that what I'm going to like describe or explain in a second is like the only way that you can play the game, nor am I saying that it is the best way to play the game. What I'm going to explain is how I play the game, and how by me playing the game and the things that I focus on and the things that I do and whatnot and all of that jazz leads us to having a team that is B rank because I loaded up the wrong save. God fucking damn it. Let me just get out of this shit and get to the right fucking save. I wish you could just load from in this, but come on. We were going so well with that intro to this, and then I completely fluffed which save I was meant to have. That one? I guess. It's just like the best leaders. Well, sometimes best leaders are the ones who often do not want to lead. Yeah, but like, God, it's not even this one either. I just don't. I don't like the idea of saying I don't have that ego in me. Like, I don't think I'm the best. As I've said in previous streams as well, I think there is multiple other people that are doing tremendous work in the community, whether it's in other videos themselves, whether it is on YouTube. There is loads of other people that have put a crap ton of information out there for you guys. There we go, S rank team. That more than likely can do a better job explaining, like, in like greater detail what I'm going to explain. But this is just going to be how I do stuff, how you guys might want to look at things, or like an understanding. I can give like an understanding and an explanation as to why I focus on what I focus on, and then just a general how does the frigging game work. Like, again, the game does like an okay-ish job in this mode to explain certain traits, but it doesn't explain absolutely everything. And the things it does explain, it doesn't always do the greatest of job. I will also use the 50k VP boost to help my two-way spirits creation and 30% boost. Both of those help out a lot. Yes, yeah, may as well. That's probably the only time that it's worth doing it for, because it's relatively easy to get points for if you're just playing one of either a pitcher or position player. But if you want two-way, boost the hell out of yourself. So as you can see here, we are an S rank team. We're in the second round of Koshien at this point. We actually got to the finals of Koshien in this one, and we lost. Which sucked. Oh no, we got to the third round. We lost actually on this game, and we lost, which was annoying even for an S-rank team. But we were playing a good team. But there's a few things here that you can already see that might be different from your team if you're playing, depending on your rank and stuff. So, for example, at the very top, we are an S-rank team. Because we are an S-rank team, we get some bonuses for that. So in the top right corner, we've got our cost, our stamina, and we've got 10. Now, normally when you start the game, we're going to restart the game in a minute, so I can confirm what it is, but pretty certain when you normally start the game, you have like 6 or 7 stamina, you don't have 10. So that's one benefit you get. Also, the amount of cards we've got at the bottom as well, you can see that we basically have 2 per cost. So we've got 2 for 0, 2 for 1, 2 for 2, 2 for 3, and 2 for 4. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 cards that we can use as well. Normally when you start, you will only have 6 or 7 again. So the higher your strength, or sorry, not your strength, the higher your reputation. I can speak, honestly, I can. It's your reputation that gives you these bonus. You can have an S-rank team like I have, and if you don't have a good reputation, so if you are not, well, we contender? We are a contender, so if you don't have that level, you will not get those benefits. So probably one of the more important things, less the actual power of your team, because the game is RNG, you want to try and maintain, anytime you rank up your reputation, you want to try and maintain it and get to the next stage. That could be beating a load of teams. So a lot of times it's going to say something like, for you to go up the next rank, you need to get to X stage of prefectural tournament or Koshien or whatever. But it's also going to usually say, or beat 5 teams that are stronger than you. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but like you beat those 5 teams that are stronger than you, you'll be able to go up the next rank. Once you reach contender status and powerhouses and stuff, the only way that you are going to rank up is if you win tournaments. So you need to win like either spring or summer Koshien. Doesn't matter whether you're beating powerhouses in other rounds. Doesn't matter about any of these things. You'll be able to max out the gauge, but you won't. Pretty certain that you can't actually unlock the next one. So that's kind of what you want to do. And if we just have a look at my team at the moment, you can see that graph-wise, we're pretty even across the board for everything. This still isn't the best because obviously you can see that we're not hitting the absolute edges of everything. We are in year. We're in 2029, so it's been 4 years, 3 years, 1 or 2, 4 years I think it would have been. And you can see that we've got 26 players, which is going to be way more than any of you guys are going to have when you started. It's going to be way more than you're probably going to have for the first couple of years as well. And we've got a nice even spread per position, especially pitches, which is going to be the main thing I'm going to talk about. We've got a lot of pitches, which is handy. We've won 94 games, lost 21 one time. We've managed to win the full tournament once. We haven't won anything yet because this was just the one that we did on stream and we managed to get to this point. But we got 9 players that have been drafted into the pro. Performance-wise, as you can see from the points as well, we've got a lot of points. And when we do win games, we're pretty much, it's not really close games. The only ones are the ones that we end up losing. Players-wise, you can see here as well. So like the player right at the top, he's the dude that we've just been playing. If you've been watching live or if you've watched the VODs, that's the person that graduated from this team, and so we use him in Star Player. And you can see that if you saw in Star Player what his stats are, obviously to have a player of this sort of caliber in Hakkyu is kind of insane. 703 star rating, 96 velocity fastball or pitch, max stamina, almost S rank fatigue, you know, pretty insane. Probably one of the best pitches I've ever managed to make, if I'm brutally honest. And he wasn't a genius or anything. I don't think he was. He is he is passionate. That stuff I'm not going to explain. Don't worry. It is important, but it's not as important as you can imagine. But as you can see, all of my pitches follow the same sort of strategy. So all of my third years, max stamina, pretty much because I might have probably forgotten to switch it off. Their recovery is up high as well. Second years, stamina, max as well. Again, probably forgot to switch off their training, and I'll cover training in a sec. Recovery, fine. First years are having their stamina trained. So this dude is already a first year. Would have drafted him in April 8th is when you get your newbies. So since April 8th, and it is now near the end of the year, like August, November, one of the two, October even, he's already up to A stamina already. And to be honest, we can probably switch him off from that, get him to start going on recovery. Catches. You know, only got 2. You don't need that many catches. Like 2 is fine. The game's always going to make sure you have players in those positions. I don't think I've ever had a point where I've had, like, say, a third-year catcher, and then in my, it's never given me another new catcher. I can't remember that ever happening in all the times I've played this game. It might well do, and you might have to put someone else and change their defense position to catcher or get them trained up on it. But I would probably say that doesn't happen. Just make sure that you're fine. But as you can see, even this third year is pretty good stats. But the second year below, because he was, we got this dude as the first year. We got obviously this dude as the first year as well, but we started training him in a little bit earlier, so his spread's a little bit different. I tried a few different things, but you can still see that recovery and fielding and play calling are basically almost the same. Arm strength is a little bit low for him, but his throwing is on point. Probably needed to actually raise the arm strength for both of them. For my infield, you can see that they've all got power because you want them to hit the ball hard. You kind of want them to be doing that. Everything else is like secondary after that as well. Down here in the fielders, you're going to see Insane Dude as well, my right fielder. He was another one that I thought we could use for star player. He is absolutely insane for, again, another one. 599, almost 600. That spread of stats is insane. A and B for contact, B power, S power, S speed. C for catching, doesn't really matter. But he's a C for out in the field, which is good. Good fatigue recovery as well. Arm strength, he's got a cannon on him. And you can see on the right as well, he's got 4 gold abilities as well, including power hitter. So like EV King, which is great. Clutch Hero, obviously brilliant. Cannon of an Arm, which is great for him being in the outfield. Power Surge, after he gets a home run, it gets a massive power boost to increase him even further. And then things like Comeback Adaptive. So things like that, like I like to think that this is a good example of what can be done and what can be achieved in this game if you just. And again, I'm not saying I'm gonna keep repeating it, so I really am sorry because I don't like beating the dead horse with it, but like the things I do are simple concepts that are not my concepts. They are concepts I learned from a speedrunner of this game, from a Japanese speedrunner that I watched when the 24-25 game came out, and I watched him and I asked him questions and I would watch him speedrun because his aim was to try and win Summer Koshien as quick as possible, and I would ask him tips and advice and watch him play, and from doing that gave me the knowledge base of, okay, well, he's trying to do it as fast as possible, but if I wanted to expand that into multiple years instead of trying to win as fast as possible, then in theory these things are going to help me in the long run. And as you can see, shit kind of works. Oh my god, I'm up 4-0 after one in the summer finals of my mate Koshien. You have such a good team. I'm mostly training the same thing as you. The game calling is very important on catch it. Yes, so it's not really as important on pretty much any other position. Game calling is how to put it? It's essentially like them being in control. Think of it as like they're the ones that will say, hey, if this was like real life, like a catcher's usually sort of like the one telling like the infield to like shift about. He's going to be the one that is sort of like in charge of the team as opposed on the field compared to the manager. So game calling is pretty handy because the higher their game calling, they will, if there's a batter that comes up that they know is maybe like a power hitter, then they might automatically tell defense when you're playing like CPU version, when you're not in charge of the games themselves, will tell the defense to shift, or they might be, this dude's going to bunt, they'll tell the infield to shift. So game calling is a handy stat to have. Like most stats, I think having if it's a stat that is relatively important for the position, I think a minimum of a C is something to aim for always. I think if you get any of like certain stats I'm going to go over per position in a sec, if you get them up to C, that's like a good base that you can then work on, and then you can decide, actually I want to focus on this or I want to go to this. But I think a C is like the bare minimum of anything you should get to. There are online, if you can search through Japanese forums and stuff. I'm not sure if I've seen anyone in English post them yet, but there are forums and documentation of people trying to aim for basically A or S across the board players. They've done this ever since like Power Pro days, and written sort of like essays and documentations and theories as to how you can develop and train players to get this. It does mean sort of sacrificing other things, and it is reliant on winning a lot of games and also being a higher level school to get the most amount of bonuses, but it is possible. But even as you can see with us, we've not even won Koshien once or anything, and look what we've managed to achieve. And defense matters, it looks like, especially for the outfield. So yes and no. It does. Again, I wouldn't have anything less than a C. I know that this dude up here has got a D, but that's just because he's still bunching on it. For me personally, speed matters more than the defense, and I'll explain that in a sec. I'm back. My family had bought some carnival food, and yes, carnival is happening close to my home. Insane. Now I want carnival food. I'm still gutted that when we went to Canada, we never had funnel cake. I'm so sorry, wife. We never had funnel cake. I know I promised it, and we never got it. I know. I'll just have to get a machine. And how important is the affinity with defensive position? So having a higher affinity is good because it means that if they're better at that position, or they've got a higher affinity for that position, they make better plays. So think of it like when I was just playing in Star Player, or if any of you watch the Star Player, if you're watching this as a YouTube video, you might have seen my player be incredibly slow off the jump and shit at reading the balls, let alone reacting to them. That's because he's got slow. That's because he's got crap affinity of being in that position. If he had a higher position, a higher affinity for that position, he's going to read the play a lot better. Game calling does come into that as well, so it's kind of like a twin sort of thing, but the fielding position is going to be better because they will read the ball better and make a jump. Again, you can put points into game calling, but personally, as far as I know, as long as you've got stats in fielding and you've got stats in speed, and then catching and throwing and arm strength, you're going to be fine for it. Oh goddamn energy! Right, I'm just going to reset the capture card. I'm incredibly sorry, YouTube viewers. It's just going to take like 10 seconds to refresh, because otherwise it's just you're gonna lose all the sound. You're probably going to lose all the sound now, and I don't even know if you can hear me talking when I do these resets. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. That's also a lot of Japanese up there. I just reset this. And reset. Nope, come back. Right then. You're going to Koshien year 2. Nice. Good job, man. That's how we do it. You'll see with the manager that the more years that you play, you can start getting abilities that you can teach as well. So you can see that we've got a good spread of stuff for not only pitching, but we've got stuff for hitting as well. Having things like Power Surge is good. Bunt Hunter, you might think is pointless. Why would you want to bunt? Bunting is one of the strongest things in this game. It looks like they did not fix it from the previous game. Metronome, great. Gold Glove, great. Aura, as you can see, to have that to begin with was brilliant. Poise, beautiful. Durability, great. And then some CPU stuff like tempo and other bits and bobs. They're all there. I also have a better team than I think I should, because you know I bought tons and tons of consumables for everything. You did, yes, you very much did, yes. All my players were A academics at the beginning. I already have max field at the beginning. Nice. A lot of those rerolls for the card games and such, yeah. Yeah, the academics will just mean at the end of the year they won't fail and then lose their motivation and stuff, which is always good to have. So it's always handy. And then yeah, having a max field is definitely going to help with your bonuses. So I'm just going to go over a few more things here, and then we're just going to reset, because it's probably a little bit easier to explain. It's easier to explain when I can have some stuff here, because it's going to make me reset the game, and we're just going to have to spam through a load of stuff to begin with, but easier to show you while I've still got it on the screen. So, items-wise, you're going to see here that I've got a load of items. I got a load of crap. Why do I have a load of crap? Because I buy a load of crap. Why do you need a load of crap? Because you never know what you're going to need. You're going to earn a load of points regardless of what you're doing. There is no other reason to have those points other than to use them to buy stuff when you visit the store. You may as well spend them. You're always going to get more. But the things that you want to focus on primarily will be training facility items, so these things along the top. You also want to focus on dirt, and you also want to focus on things like maybe water buckets, snow shovels, and I haven't got any here, I don't think. No, I don't have any. But the other ones that you want to look out for are the ones that are the skull to heart icons, whatever they're called. I can't remember what it is, reverse luck, whatever that is. Which means that if you've got a load of cards that have negative skulls on them, it's going to turn them to, like you can see the very end, special training has got the little musical note. It's going to change them all to that. Those are kind of like the handiest ones to have. When you buy one of these training facility items, use it. Don't be like me and be a dumbass and forget to use them, because when they're sat here, they don't do anything whatsoever. You need to actively click on it and use it. So I don't think there's any, because we've got all of these here. Yeah, none of these can be used. If you use R1, you can go over to the field, and it's going to show you all of the ones that you've got equipped. And you can see that by not only raising the field level with dirt, but by putting equipment down, these are going to raise your field level, which is going to give you more EXP when you train, which obviously means you're going to level up faster. And you can have like 2 per different things. So you can see I've pretty much got everything bar the 3x3 target. I've pretty much got every single one that you can have. The little green durability icon, every time you use them, it's going to essentially wear down its durability to the point where they will start cracking. So you can see the high-speed camera is cracking. It's starting to go down. Once they get to red, which I think there's one like that, usually when they're broken like that, it means the next time you're going to use it, it's probably going to break, and you're then going to lose having that item. It's going to drop your field level a little bit, and you're going to lose the bonus from having it. But what you can do is, as you can see here, I've still got 2 spare. So you can't use another one while you've still got one. But if it breaks, this is why I have multiples of the ones. Anytime I see them in the store, I just try and buy multiples. You can repair them with an item that is the toolbox, and it will repair the durability on them. There's also events that can happen that can repair the durability as well. So it's always handy to try and do like the school events or any of the musical note event cards as well, if you've got them, to try and get some of the recovery back. But really, if you want to boost, like you can see my team has, you want to be having as many of these as early as possible, and making sure that you keep them for as long as possible. Using dirt as well to upgrade your field as best as you can. You want to be using dirt all the time, anytime that you can, to try and increase it. I'm just role-playing that my high school is just like the Harvard Japanese high school, and now we're dabbling financing sports. Yeah, I've always made sure my practice is effective in the rain and snow. Yes, so I'll go into the why that's important in a little bit as well. Obviously, you can buy other items as well, so things like this, which will rearrange your schedule, which is the same as having the purple reschedule card, and I'll go over cards in a sec. Things that will change all of the commands to enhance, so you get more EXP from using them. Things that will recover everyone's energy, things that will boost morale. Morale is something that you want them to always be higher, because players will do better, train better, have a higher chance of learning abilities when higher. Boosting the academics, like GG score. Change the personalities. I'm not going to lie, I do not have the greatest grasp, even though I've read the documentation on personalities and I understand what it is, but I'm not that guy that is going to try and explain to you guys what personality is, because fundamentally I do not bother with it, and I it's important and it's not important. Professional baseball cards are going to give you, when you pop one, you're going to get consumable abilities that you can learn. And then you'll start seeing like things like stats, where like things you can upgrade players with. So like contact will get boosted by 5, lefties by 5, catching is going to be boosted, first base, second base, stamina, velocity, stamina drinks boost their staminas, all these sort of things. Most of the time you can only give a player one of these items. There is a way, as far as I can remember, that you need to either make them have a higher morale or better at academics. But that might just be for the books. But there are at least minimum, you can do one per player and give these things. So for my picture that we've got, that's the insane picture, I had an Ethos pitch on here that I gave him in year 2, and then I made him train it all the way up to an S power, S control, because I thought it would be absolutely hilarious, and it is, because it's one of the best pictures. I'm listing my real spirits. That's fine. And then you got abilities, obviously, that you can teach to people. Depending on whether you get them from cards, and you can get rare, super rare, ultra rare cards, or whether you just pick them up naturally from the store or other things, you've got all of those. And then, same as I said, you've got your snow and your shovels. As you play, you'll see for your calendar, I'm pointing, but bear in mind that you can't see it. But if you look on the left hand side where the calendar is, you're going to see near the semi-final, it's got a little umbrella. So it means it's going to rain, and if you train when it's bad conditions, and it comes up even for a prompt the first couple of times to let you know this, if you train while it is wet or snowy, players might potentially get injured, or if they don't get injured, they're not going to train as well as they could, and they're not going to perform as well as they could, and it could potentially drop morale. So if you've got items that can negate that, so like this bucket here, for 1 month, so essentially 30 days, doesn't matter if it rains, for basically 4 lots, four lots of choosing cards, training, 4 sets of training sessions, you're going to be covered if it rains or during then. Same with if it snows, you're going to be covered for a month on there. And that along with the toolbox are like kind of like the more handier items to grab. The rest of it you can kind of like not worry too much about. But obviously that does depend on how you're looking to train people. Things like the roster, if you want to edit your lineup, I don't bother. I just let it all auto. There's a few times where I will swap out certain players, usually the pitchers for most things, where I will put someone who's got usually the most amount of stamina and not necessarily the most amount of like the best pitches and stuff. I will usually put them as a starter and keep like the true ace who might not be able to last more than a couple innings. I'll keep them as closer or relief. But for the most part, I think using the auto, the computer's clever enough to sort it out. If you do want to if you do want to mess around with it, obviously it is all here where you can mix around players, toggle whether you want to use a DH or not. If you're not doing the field play highlights where you're in control, you can use trusted, and it's going to show you which players have the most amount of trust, which then means that you've got a higher chance of better stuff going right when you're playing. And the same with the game plan as well. You can change stuff as to how often you want it to do these sort of things per steel base hit and run, however you want it. So then if the computer's in control, it's going to try these things. But these are just CPU strategies. School is exactly the same as we're going to see in a sec when we reset the school. But it just allows you to change any of that anytime. Rivals is going to show you all the people that you face. It's like the last 25, last 30, 50 people. It's something like that, but it's going to show you all the last people that you played against. So the more you play, there's going to be schools that you're going to notice a lot more of depending on what prefecture you started in. So you're going to remember certain names a lot more often. For me, it is... Where are you, Git? Our rivals were... Say... You? I feel like it's these guys. Yeah, these douchebags. They were our main rivals. We basically had a Ace of Diamonds style anime thing of losing the first year against them, losing again in the second year, and then kicking their ass in the finals of the prefectural tournament to get to Koshien. So that was cool. Town. Pretty much what it says underneath each thing. One thing I think that people don't possibly pay attention to. I've had a lot of people ask me questions, and I'm not gonna lie, the way I learnt the game is reading the very bottom of the screen. So a lot of people don't seem to notice that, and I don't know if it's just whatever. But it's going to tell you what each of these things do, and you will unlock more as players when they graduate go into these certain areas. So at the start, you are only going to have, bless you, you are only going to have Yorizuya, which is your shop where you spend your points, you can buy your items and stuff. As players graduate, they will eventually go to different places. So if they end up getting drafted into a pro team, then you unlock the stadium and you can trigger events for that. If they go work at a convenience store at the Conveni, then you will trigger events there, and so on and so forth. So each one of these, depending on where that player graduates and what they go on to go do, is going to unlock different things here. And obviously different events will give you benefits. So the Conveni, sometimes it might be that the dude might give you a free energy drink. Sometimes when you go to the bookstore, you might get a free ability book. Sometimes when you go to the sporting goods store, it might be energy recovery for the team, and so on and so forth. So the more that you play, those guys are always going to stay there, and they're always going to be in there. So once you've got it up to a certain level, it's never going to go down a level. Yearbook just lets you see all your players that have graduated and how they did, and then your schedule, obviously. So that's kind of everything that's on here. You've got this main screen here, which again I'll just go over because it's quicker to do it here until we have the new team. But you've got your costs, and there's certain things that you want to pay attention to. For example, you're going to see that I've got a lot of pitching and defense cards. At the start of the game, it's going to give you a mix of cards. It's not going to give you specifics, and that's because up until a certain point through the season, there'll be a point where you'll be asked by your team manager, what sort of team do you want to focus? How do you want to focus? What sort of team do you want to be? And for me, I always choose pitching and defense. My main philosophy is pitching, and that's because pitching will win you games far more than anything any other position player will do. Pitchers are the most valuable players on your team. These are high school students, and much like real life high school students, they are going to be pitching a lot of innings, and they're going to be pitching multiple games in a row without any form of recovery or break or anything. So you want them to have high stamina and high fatigue recovery. Yes, you can use items, but let's say that you're playing it legitimately and you're not using items, you want high fatigue recovery, and that way, even if they're not necessarily like an ace, but they've got good pitches, the longer good pitchers can stay in the game, the more chance you have of winning the game. Because even having like bad hitters, just because they might be like E power, F contact, you're still going to be able to get the ball into the outfield, or they might be able to get the ball into the outfield. They might be, C speed or stuff like that, but you're going to see a lot of errors, and you're going to see a lot of things go wrong, and a lot of bloop plays and weird defense shenanigans and all this other crap. So if you've got a pitcher that can last a long time and not give up runs, that gives you a higher opportunity of being able to score and get ahead. To me, every other training thing is irrelevant. So pitches are kind of what I focus on. It does mean that in theory you're not going to be developing as strong a team for like the outfield and infield, but I think as you saw from my stats, you can still create absolute monsters, and that's going to happen because if you keep doing what I'm going to explain, and I know I keep explaining that, I'm not trying to stall it, you're going to end up making an alright team. What's a good third pitch to go to with fastball and ethos? So I went with a circle changeup because it's like a middle pitch. It's like bang in the middle. If not a circle change, then you could always go for something like a curveball, or a fork is pretty good, or a fosh. But you kind of want something to be sort of like middle speed wise, I should say. I think is always good. And then that gives you the flexibility of going up, middle, and down on the speed graph to mess batters up. Sorry, I'm just having more soju. As you can see here, we've got a bunch of cards now that are flashing. And that's because we've got multiples of the same card. So you see we've got 2 target practices here. We've got 2 pitch researches. But all of these are all yellow. So when you do multiple of the same color, you're going to get a bonus from it. When you do multiple of the same card, you're definitely going to get a bigger bonus from it as well. So ideally what you would want to do is, especially when you're up to this sort of level where stamina doesn't really matter too much, ideally you want to use the ones that you're focusing on. If you know, so for me, I focused on pitching and defense. So we're only really going to get, like, for the most part, 90% of the time, we're going to get pitching and defense cards. We'll rarely get sort of like the blue hitting cards. We won't really get any of those sort of ones. We'll get them every so often, but we won't get them as much as everything else. But if, for example, for me here, I would be like, right, okay, we basically got eight stamina use up. What could we use? Well, we could do the two target practices. I'd want to use those 2 together, so there's no point using that one up. Whatever card's not going to get used is going to disappear. May as well probably do something like that. And the reason that you would want to do something like that is you're going to get the club manager card is going to play an event, which is then potentially going to give us a good buff. You're going to get your bonuses from your target practice. You're going to get the bonuses from the pitching ones. The roller at the end is going to disappear. For me, the reason why I want to do that is because that's going to break if I use it. So until I get a card that is either going to fix the equipment, or I get an item that's going to fix the equipment, can't really. I mean, I could do it because we've got a spare one and we could just reset it again. But also at the same time, it's stamina, and as you saw with most of my pitches, we are maxed out on stamina. We don't really need it anymore. So, as I know, I keep an eye in periodically, sort of every maybe like end of the month or so. I keep an eye on what we're doing in terms of how the players are doing, and I think if you sort of make a mental note of like, cool, it's been 3 sets of training sessions, where the players at, or we played the whole tournament, where they at. If you keep an eye on what they're doing, that way it's a lot easier to quickly fix issues that you can see if they're not training as well as they should do, because maybe they got low morale and things. Yo, how's it going, hey Sally? Hope you're doing well, man. I love that. That's a sick gift, man. How's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you've been keeping well. I've been trying to catch you on streams, man. I keep picking up every single time. But yeah, I hope you're doing good, man. Field player right now, or go to curveball. If I want to DH and not play defense while pitching, can I skip all fielding infinity, or will they still use me the DH if I have good batting ratings? So if you've got good batting ratings, they will probably put you in DH. You got to remember that depending on which team you're playing for as well will determine whether they have DH. So if you're in Central League, then you're going to have DHs. If you're in Pacific League, no, other way around. Pacific League has DH, Central League doesn't have DH. Yeah, that way around. So while in real life and MPB, they're going to be introducing in the universal DH rule for the Central League as well. That's not until next season or this season. But in game-wide, you're going to need a Central League team. Otherwise, you're going to have to request it as a either as a pinch hitter, or you're going to have to prove yourself that you should be a DH. Week's been good. Yeah, I am broken. I did far too much gardening this afternoon and it's absolutely killed me. And I'm hoping that I can put more DP on in a minute. Also, my working week was absolutely shit. But yeah, doing good, man. I'm drinking alcohol. I'm sat here explaining Hakkyu for people, so yeah. Okay, I'll choose a position then. Could I not just turn on DH in both league settings? You could do that, yeah, then it fixes both problems and you don't have to worry about it. Right then, next thing. For me, cards that I like looking out for are things like the Intra Squad game. that means that everyone's going to get a load of bonuses from playing the games. It's one of the cards that I will try and always try and use, depending on the cost. Obviously, with it being all the way up there, costing me 4, it's not really ideal. So I always try and keep like a plan ahead, because obviously when you have this many cards, it's quite easy to plan ahead as well when you're only selecting 3. So you can kind of see like what you're going to go for. If we really quickly just go to the training settings for players. Oh yeah, Sally. This is the this is the picture. That is just a tad good. He's kind of alright. I've seen worse. I've got worse on the team, but not by much. Even the relief dude. This dude is like 601. Like, and then the right fielder as well. That is just a beast, an absolute beast. You love to see it. But yeah. So if I was gonna train people, the very first thing I train is their stamina. As you can see with my first years further down, they get to be trained in stamina, and we can't train stamina because we're at max for it. Who's not at max? These guys. So they get to train stamina. To be honest, like a C, like these guys almost hitting like B level, it's probably fine to do. You could probably swap these over to fatigue, and they'll naturally gain the extra bits of points for through just playing games anyway. They're naturally just going to upgrade certain stats just through playing. So you could probably switch it off here, but at the moment we're still just going to bump them up, so they're at least like maybe like a B or an A, like this dude's got. So he could probably be switched off. I would then make him go to fatigue because I want him to be able to recover faster. These two are going to be like doing the first years. You got to think of them more as like third years. Is the way I think of it, is that they're not going to get any game time anytime soon. They might get some game time next year when they're second years, but for now they ain't doing nothing, and you want to make sure that when they are ready to play, they're going to be able to pitch balls, get outs, and that's all that they need to do. So while they might have like C, Ds, C, E, C, D, Fs, you know, for their pitches, that's fine. As long as they don't have like all E's or all G's or all F's, it's absolutely fine for them to have C pitches. You will have enough time to increase those pitches to A or S ranks. So like, as I said before, this dude's Ethos pitch, he got it in a second year. It is SS. So you will have enough time. If you put the time in for other bits to begin with, it then gives you the time to focus on the things that they will need later on. So stamina and recovery are the main two things that I would go for. Get one of them up to maybe like say minimum C or B for stamina, and then recovery again C or B. Once you get up to there, do whatever you want. Make them learn new pitches, increase the break levels on pitches. Obviously all of this tells you exactly what is going to happen, and it's great that it shows you almost like in a Dark Souls sort of way. It highlights and it lets you know which ones you're doing. So if you want your break-in to go up and you want to go across the board, keep it on auto. If you just want one of them to go up, obviously select that, and it's only going to focus on that one and put a little bit more points into it. I like to use usually just like all, unless there is a specific pitch, like I did with the Ethos. I specifically wanted the Ethos to be worked on and everything to go in because it just gets it quicker. The lower the rank of the pitch as well, the quicker it's going to rank up. So if something's a G, you're going to go from G to F to E far quicker than you're going to go from C to B. Everything takes a lot longer the higher the stats, which makes sense. It would be stupid if everything took the same amount of time from low ranks to high ranks. Catchers. Fielding, throwing, and arm strength, and then power. Power, possibly not so much, but these guys, the amount of base running that happens in this mode, certain teams will abuse the ever-loving hell out of it. But yes, being able to be a good catcher in their position is great field calling is great as well because it means that they're able to react and let other players know what should be going on and give like a heads up and change like defensive formations. Throwing is good because you don't want them to be wild with the throw, which is why I don't think arm strength is as important, because the players that you're going to be playing against, unless they're like powerhouses or super powerhouses, for the most part are not going to be fast enough. So if you pick them off from the catcher, you're probably going to throw them out. They're not going to be fast enough, which is why arm strength isn't as important as throwing is, because if they can't throw the ball properly and they yeet it into center field, you're giving up another base, which is why throwing, I think personally, just for me personally, is the more important stat out of the two. But yeah, throwing, fielding, and calling. After that, focus on whatever you want. Hitting obviously is probably handy to have. I like the idea of having a power hitter catcher. I like the idea of a power hitter in any position, but a power hitting catcher, like a Cal Raleigh sort of scenario, is kind of what I sort of envision with the catcher. And again, that's what the speedrunner did. These are all his strats, not mine. For your infield, again, I like to think of it in terms of the strat that I was shown or watched and understood and copied and stole, whichever, however you want to call it. Power. Power. You are going to need some players right off the bat that can actually hit the ball, and even a D power or E power hitter can hit the ball out of most of these high school stadiums, or at least get it to be a deep ball to the warning track, or just hitting the home run fences. So power, so you can smash balls super far. After that, doesn't really matter, to be honest. Some players, it's a little bit easier to decide what you want to do, because you can say, okay, well, they've started with maybe D speed, or they've started with I don't know, contact high, throwing high, whatever their other stats that are high in. You're probably better off just bumping up to at least, again, a minimum of C for something. But if you want them to excel in something, bring it up to a B or an A. Do you have a picture animation form to recommend for my two-way player? I mean, I like the stupid sort of Hideo Nomo, crazy ass wind-ups. Anything that's off-putting. For me personally, like, things I hate hitting against are submarine pitches, which I think I've expressed multiple times. I don't know if I could deal with that pitcher. Although one of the pitchers on this team is a submarine pitcher, so it's not actually that bad. But considering that I always pitch quick, I don't know if that annoys people that I always just flip it straight to quick pitching. But like, I just hate having like the 10-second animation of pitching. It really irritates. It just slows the whole friggin' game down to me. I swear I don't have like ADHD or something. Actually, I might actually do. But yeah, I for me it's like I want to play the game and watch my pitcher do the same animation and take like 6-7 seconds to pitch. Really slows it down for me, and I can't deal with that. So yeah, quick pitch is way, but exactly, yeah, I can't deal with it. There was a guy I was watching the other day, and I told him about quick pitch. I also told him that you don't have to do the warm up pitches. If you just press triangle, you can skip the warm up pitches, and he was so grateful for just even that. So there's just little things like that you can just get around. But yeah, for your Otani pitching from since he's my idol, and yes, quick pitch only, yeah. So yeah, your infield, focus on power. I'd say hitting is probably the most important thing. Maybe speed. I always think if you're just going to go for hitters, then speed is probably the next thing, because then they're at least useful on the base path. There's nothing worse than having people get on the bases, and then like this first baseman here, he's only got F speed, which is pretty crap to have, so he's not useful. But at the same time, he's not the main first baseman. It's this dude that's the main first baseman, and so that's why you can see I've kind of previously kind of tried to get his speed up a little bit. You'll see it's quite often that, like, especially with some of the team, that's certain players that I've got double of, I try and do the opposite of what I'm doing to just try and give me, like, both sides if I need to swap them out. Your outfielders, speed. Give them speed. You didn't know you could skip warm-up pitches. Yeah, dude, just press triangle. Literally just press triangle or Y on Xbox. you'll skip it. You don't have to do them each time. I don't know if it does. I genuinely do not know if skipping warm-up pitches does anything. I don't think it does. I'm almost certain it doesn't do it. Because it's like, well, like it doesn't ever tell you anything after 3 pitches. Like it doesn't say like you've warmed up or anything like that. You're in control, so yeah, just skip that shit. Like, but the game doesn't tell you that, does it? That's something you just learn from mashing buttons like I did, like 2.5 years ago. Outfielders, speed. Reason we want speed is because they're going to be running a lot, and it's going to be a pain in the ass when you get someone like, for example, in the Star Player, you watch, you know, I'm playing for the Swallows, and you see a ball go right field, and you see Santana running his heart out, but he's going at 2 miles an hour. You're going to lose more bases and more opportunities for outs if they are slow. Doesn't matter if they've got bad fielding. If they are slow, they're still not going to be able to get to that ball. But if they are fast and they still make a bad jump, it gives them the ability of still catching up to it. So speed, 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 speed. Get their speed up. After that, defense. Auto is probably fine to use because you want not only their catching and throwing, but you want their arm strength, their field calling, their fielding affinity, and their calling. You want all of that to go up. Obviously, if they're in the outfield, you want to be able to make sure that if they're throwing the ball in, not only is it not going to be a wild throw, but you also want them to be accurate and for it to come in quickly as well, so you don't give up extra bases. So speed first so they can track those balls down and get to the ball. After that, defense. After that, whatever form of hitting you want to focus on. That's kind of what I would do for each position, and I think personally that works best. You can use quick setup, which I don't think a lot of people use, to be honest, and you can set this to do just by that instead. So say for example, okay, pitches, I know that I need you guys to just focus on stamina, so you can tell all of them to focus on stamina. Right then, all the fielders, as opposed to just like the individual groups, we can all focus on that. Wouldn't use that one, kind of like ruins what I was talking about. Catches, focus on everything like throwing or game calling and fielding ability. Infielders, let's all focus on power. So you can quickly, rather than doing individual ones, you can just do it this way, and it's going to set it much quicker than prattling around. But to be honest, that's only kind of really useful at the start. It's not really useful after the second one. See, I thought too, like, does it impact my simulated pitches? Not. Yeah, I don't think it does, because it doesn't come up with anything. You don't see any meter, and there's nothing that like on the condition meter or anything like that. There's nothing that it does, and I've never noticed any particular difference whether I've done it or not done it. To me, it's just 10 seconds of game that I'm not actually playing. I gave my two-way player B affinity at first base and C affinity at left field and right field. Yeah, so yes, that'll give you a good chance, depending on if you get pinch hit for either staying in the game or taking up one of those positions and then being a regular starter. Right, we're going to go out of this, and we're just going to start a new game, and then that way I can go over some of the other jazz that I've got written down in front of me. As this is loading, obviously, if you have any questions, if you want a further explanation, then you can always catch me on Twitter. You can drop a comment below as well, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I will always try and help out where I can. I can't always guarantee that I will be able to give you the exact answer that you want, but I will do my best to try and help out where I can, to the best of my ability. Which at the moment, being like one Sochu in, is waning. The Prefecture stream. So we've started a brand new team here, or we're going to start a brand new team. This is something that's a little different than 2024-2025 game, and I don't really understand why they've removed it. But I'm pretty certain that even though that it's not visibly here, it is still working in the background, because it wouldn't make sense for it to not be here. What I mean is that each one of these regions has a has a difficulty essentially to it, and at the moment it's going to be a hidden difficulty compared to what it used to be like beforehand. Oh no, it is here. Why did I think it was fucking disappeared then? Okay, right. For example, we're going to choose Kanto region here, so we're going to choose Pokemon Kanto region. In the bottom left, it's going to tell you the population of each of these prefectures. So Ibaraki's got a 5-star. Tochigi is 3, Gunma is 3, Saitama is 9, Chiba is 10, Kanagawa is 10, and Yamanashi is a 2. You can also see what the in the bottom right, in the red, it's telling you the amount of schools, like the population of schools is going to be. So you've got large, normal, very large, very large, very large, normal. Depending on which prefecture you choose, it's going to affect a few different things. It's going to affect how many schools are going to be in your prefecture and how many you have a potential to go up against in prefectural tournaments, which is kind of a bit of a bugger. And with it being the population as well, it just means that the chances, like the amount of players that you could see for like scouting as well. If you've got a low population area, so for example, like I always choose somewhere down here in like the Chugoku or Kinki region, because we've got like Osaka and Kyoto and stuff like that. You're going to see that if you choose somewhere like Nara, for example, it's only got a population of 2, it's got a normal amount of schools. So you're probably only going to ever see from this prefecture maybe a max of like 8 different schools, like enough to do the prefecture tournament. Gunma, yeah, I know. I would normally always choose Gunma because of friggin' Initial D, but it also makes the game 10 times harder. And that's the thing, depending on how hard you want to make the game for yourself, choosing the prefecture is kind of like your way of gauging like your starting sort of difficulty, regardless of how other things you're going to do. Because you could do this, you could choose the exact same prefecture hundreds of times. You're always going to get a random assortment of players. You might start with a bunch of absolute scrubs. You might start with 3 geniuses. It doesn't really matter because it's completely random. So you can think of it as, okay, when we get to the prefecture tournaments, how many rounds am I going to have to play in to get to the final? If you choose someone like Nara, you're only going to be playing in, at best, maybe 3 to 4 rounds of baseball, because the population of schools is small. If you choose something like back in Kanto and you choose something like Chiba, where the population is a 10 and participating schools is very large, you're going to go through double that amount of rounds to get to the prefectural tournament, because there is that many more schools that you're competing against, because it's a popular and they have a lot of schools there and whatnot. So one way that you can make the game easier for yourself at the start is by choosing one that has a lower participating school amount and a lower population. It doesn't, I personally do not think it negatively impacts your school too badly by choosing that, because it's not like, because you're going to be a brand new school, you're not taking over a school. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to take over friggin', I don't know, some big name, like you're not taking over like Tokyo U or any of the actual proper real life fucking schools that I can't remember any of the names of, even though Koshien's on. You're not taking over a school, you're making a brand new one, so you don't have to prestige, you're starting from scratch. So it's not like you're taking some sort of elaborate high-end school over. You're going to be starting from the bottom and working your way up, and if you're competing against higher-end schools, of which when there's a higher participation of schools, it means that there's a higher chance of stronger schools in there as well. And if you want to progress quickly, you want to be facing teams that are your sort of same caliber and not losing quickly. I started off in Gunma, it's been a roller coaster. Yeah, it's tougher. It does make the game tougher. As I say, as far as I know, it does not affect anything about like your drafting. It's not going to affect what your starting schools are. It's not going to affect like your ground level or anything like that. The only other things that it will affect, and it's because it's region based. Certain regions obviously have different climates and weather to others. So if you were to choose somewhere like Hokkaido, then you're going to end up having more times in the year when you are going to have snow conditions because it happens more often. If you choose somewhere like Kyushu or Okinawa, you're not going to have snow conditions, nor are you probably going to have rain conditions. If you choose somewhere like I do in Osaka, you're going to have the odd like rain conditions every so often. You're very rarely going to get snow, if ever. But it's one of those things where I don't think personally you have to think too much about it, but it is something to consider if you want the game to be either slightly harder for yourself or slightly easier for yourself. Probably the easiest way of doing this would be maybe have a look at like go on Google and have a look at like what the average weather is in for like different parts. So say like the north, middle, south. Just have a look at what it is during the year. That's going to give you pretty much what the game's going to replicate. So the higher north you go, more chance of snow, especially Hokkaido and like Sapporo. Shit. Go back. Go back. But like if you're up here, like closer to the top, you're gonna get more sort of bad weather and more sort of snowy weather. If you're closer down to like the like Okinawa and Kyushu, you're gonna get a lot better weather. But as you see, because of that, you're also gonna have like lower end teams. So Fukuoka, you're gonna have like a lot of schools because it's highly populated. Okinawa, you're not going to have as many schools because it's literally a bunch of islands in the bottom corner. And yeah, like you can make it as easy as hard as you want. I'd like to go again. The reason again, another one is like Osaka. Yeah, massive amount of schools, lots of participation. You could do because obviously it's where like tigers and buffaloes and the other teams are. But like something like Kyoto or Nara, I think is like a fair place to start. Like anything that's like 2, 3, or 4 star, I think is pretty good. Kyoto's still got a large amount of schools that you're going to be playing against, but the population isn't like massive. I don't know if there's any schools that have like small. So Tottori here has a small amount, so you'd be playing maybe like 2, maybe 3 prefecture games, which then obviously, if you're always making it to the prefecture finals and you're always winning the prefecture finals, or if you're if you choose somewhere like this, it means that you can very quickly rank up because you're always going to be like the best team in your region. So you can kind of cheese it a little bit. If you want to cheese it, we want a little bit easier, go for something like this, and then you don't have to worry so much. You left for a few minutes but heard a bit in the kitchen and shit, didn't realise the regions made such a huge difference. Chose Hokkaido. Yeah, so it's fun to choose Hokkaido. It's a laugh, but you're going to be needing a lot more items, a lot more often, to cover for the bad weather. So we'll choose Tottori because I can use this as an example. So we've got all of this crap. Don't worry about it. You do whatever. We're just going to fill it in as it is and keep it going. We're just going to get into the actual main bit. One thing also I don't think a lot of people understand, and I'll show you when we get past this. That is a crap spread of players. We've got one pro aspiring player. All of them want to be pro aspiring players, so kind of stupid to have it. But we haven't got any 3 stars. At least they're all 2 stars. It could be worse. Could be much worse. But that isn't good. Oh shit, that is bad. They are all diamonds in the rough. We will just say that. That's the easiest way of looking at these guys. Because we're starting fresh. They're all shit, but they're diamonds in the rough. Most interesting thing about the region is being able to find the pros in respective regions during the recruiting. Yes, so I don't know if we're going to have time to get onto that, so I will explain it on the other save file, which I should be able to do because we should be able to get the scouting cards. But also I can go back to the main menu and show that as well. Obviously here, if you want to change any of the stuff, you can change it. So if we wanted this picture to look a little bit different, and we could be like, right, we were just going to give him, what sort of hair do we want? We'll give him one of the female hairstyles instead, because I think it's absolutely hilarious. So we're just going to give him the little ponytail that comes down, and then we're going to change the color to a lovely shade of pink. And then that way we know who he is. That is wonderful. We're going to make him look like Makama from Chainsaw Man. The face, we're just going to give him a little bit more of a Ooh, what's going to do it for me? Sharp, V-taper. V-taper's pretty good. We're just going to make it not as... Just going to change this. It's complete point, but obviously you can change any of these sort of things in this bit as well. And then that way, if you... But even if you did all of this and you're like, oh, I don't like the look of them, you can always go back and change it anyway at any point. So you can mess around with these things. Come on, go back. Cool. Fine. Yeah, I'm way ahead. I'm way ahead of what you talk about. It's cool. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get to it potentially. I think we've been speaking for like an hour and 3/4 at this point, but we're just gonna smash through the rest of it because it's fucking 10 o'clock as well. So one thing, one real quick tip, and again, game doesn't tell you it, and I didn't figure it out until maybe 10 hours in, and I don't know why. That dude looks so buff with the fucking... That's like some Baki character, the Arima picture. That dude is not a friggin... he's not a high schooler. The other two look like high schoolers. He looks like fucking someone from NJP Dubs. To make the text go really fast, you used to have to hold right on the touchpad, and right on the touchpad used to make it go. Instead, these days, right on the touchpad makes it auto skip. So I'm just holding right on the touchpad. I don't know what it would be for Xbox, but I'm assuming that's why they changed the button, because it's available. I say Xbox, I mean PC. But if you're not using a DualSense on PC, it's probably why they changed the button. So if you want to make the text go fast, you hold L1. If you hold L1, just makes everything blitz through it. You hold square, do you? Oh shit, does the same thing as well. Never thought to press that. L1 or square will make it go faster for you. There you go, I've learned something today. Thank you very much, Gigi. So, like I said, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go to players. We are going to get these guys on stamina. So, as we are knowing exactly what we want, regardless of whatever these dumbasses have got, we're going to get their... you could probably do these guys on defense auto. This I'm going to want on... We'll put it on... No, we'll keep it on power, and then these guys we want speed. It's just going to speed everything up, so then if we check it, we can see, right, all of these dudes... Third years, second years, and first years. Third years, when you start the game, does not matter. Do not care about them. They're going to be gone before you even knew that they were playing for you. So these guys are kind of pointless to have. Don't even worry about trying to train them up or anything, because they're going to be gone in a couple weeks' time. It's really your second years, but primarily your first years are the ones you want to focus on. So we'll get these guys up on there. Defense is auto, so we can get that going up. These guys for power, so they're all weak as shit. Apart from this third year, but he's going to be going. And then these guys, they've all got crap speed apart from this bottom dude. For us, we've got some alright sort of abilities by the looks of it. We've got base lock and poise, which is nice. We've got tempo plus, regular tempo, hard hitter and contact, which is good. And then these three is actually really handy to have, along with head first and push hitter. That's all you really need to do at the moment. You don't really need to do anything else. So as it's the start of the season, you can just focus on whatever the hell you want. So we may as well do an inter-squad game. We'll just do some play catch and press like all the buttons that are completely wrong, and just burn through all of this as quick as possible. As you see here, as it's saying, whenever you see identical ones, you want to use them. Selecting commands of the same color is going to give you the bonuses. We're all just going to increase. He says it's come up, so one thing as well, if you ever accidentally skip something, you want to know what the hell as to a reason why you're making a selection, you can just press R1 and it's going to come up with the text for you. So just the Iwa Mura has come up with a super productive practice session today. He said his method focuses on how to, and then these are just going to be what do you want to try and focus on. So I know that one of the things we're doing is we're trying to field efficiency for the catchers. I know we're trying to run the bases efficiently, which will be speed, which will help the outfielders, and make contact efficiently, which would be for the hitters. But because we've only got hitting on auto as opposed to hitting contact, you won't get the most amount of benefits from this. So for me personally, I want to run the bases, hopefully increase all of their speeds. And as you can see, they've all gone up as well for it. Weird, I'm doing the boost with my 50k credits and it won't let me change from pitching to batting stats. Did you choose a pitcher to begin with, or did you choose a batter to begin with? You have to choose a pitcher. If you do, don't understand that. Then it should let you. Nah, I mean, like you saw, I chose pitcher, and I just cycled through to the other ones afterwards. Oh, you're doing the boost, yeah. So you're not doing the card game, you're doing the other one, right? The whatever the thing's called. Yeah, it works in player creation, but not in the 50k boost. Yeah, it's only gonna let you focus on one or the other. Which will always be your primary position. So yeah, you won't be able to use it for that. Probably should have explained that before you did it. But you can just switch off your PlayStation and re-switch it back on, and you won't lose anything. Yeah, so you can cheese it that way. She's going to explain some crap here, but like she says, if you have the music symbol, you get a positive event, skull's a negative event, green symbol means you get stamina recovery, which is super handy to get, and the yellow up symbol is not an event, but to boost the effectiveness of the chosen practice command icon. So you kind of want to use those. The boost chance, how can you cheese it? You can't cheese it. If you just switch off your console, you're not going to lose the tickets and the VP and everything that you spent on it. So you can then just reset, because it's not going to, as long as you don't finalize anything and you just close the application, it's just going to load up as if you didn't do any of that. You can't cheese it in terms of like doing the boost. You're just going to not lose what you did, and essentially save scum. It's that sort of thing. Go with it, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, so we're just gonna get through. We're just gonna get to. Oh, I've got one here, special abilities, which is handy to have. So we'll just do. I don't friggin' know. This, and this. Now, special training. When you use that card, it's gonna pick one of 3 players out of all your team, and then whichever player you then choose, you're going to be able to choose from a bunch of abilities that you have as a manager to teach your team. So obviously at the start, we've only got those short amount of abilities that we started with, and as you progress and you play more, you're going to get more abilities that you will get that you can then always teach the players. One thing that is to keep in mind when you are going to do that with players is to have their morale as high as you can. Obviously, we've just started, so they've all going to have pretty low morale. There's going to be a few that might have high, like that dude. There's a few that are low as well, which isn't great. But the higher their morale, the higher their chance of getting the ability. Even if it's a higher end ability, so it's like a 5-star ability, a 4-star ability, the higher their morale, the better chance they're going to get to increase their abilities. Is late launch worth getting, or worm killer? Worm killer's handy to have. Late launch is alright, but I'd probably choose worm killer over the 2 personally. I think I've got that on more players than I do late launch. You could always grab the other one later on from another player in star player, but I would start with worm killer personally. So hopefully we won't get any of the players that are low morale. A few of their morale's gone up there as well, which is good. When you get this option for like clean the clubhouse or doing field maintenance, if you've got any field training equipment, it's going to repair some of the durability of some of your items. Clean the clubhouse has the ability of potentially you finding training equipment, or possibly finding other items. So we don't need to do field maintenance at the moment because we're literally starting from scratch. So we may as well clean the clubhouse. Then their morale's a little bit higher. We didn't fucking find anything. So as you can see, we've got 2 first years and 1 third year. In this scenario, that third year does not exist to me. Third years don't exist. So it's only going to be one of these two that we would want to upgrade. Do you like Pick Off Plus or leveling up Base Lock? I've never got a Pick Off before. Yeah, I don't think in all the times that I've tried, I think I've only ever got one Pick Off. So Base Lock is a lot better one. If you've been watching like the star player ones, even trying to get players thrown out, you've got more chance of getting thrown out than the CPU has of throwing out either opposing players or your own teammates. I wouldn't ever bother with pick off, because even when you chance it, it's so low that you ever get it. So low. So out of these two, I'm gonna pick the top guy because I want him to be the ace. He's only got 3 pitches. Stamina's F, recovery's F. He's only 85 miles an hour. This dude's slower fastball. He does have more pitch mixes, but he's only really got 1 pitch, which is useful, which is a screwball. At least this dude has 2 Ds that we can work with. So I wanted him to try and learn. So about asking all about all the abilities, I'm figuring it out. I appreciate it. What about fail-proof prime time? Prime time, definitely. That's kind of a 100% take if you've got the points and the spirits to use. Definitely get prime time. Aura and prime time are like definite ones. After that it's kind of just whatever you like the sound of, to be honest. But like aura, prime time, brushback, yeah, versus jam can be handy. I think it's more about how you like to pitch, and what if your pitch mix is going to be, you know, fastball, EFS, curveball, and depending obviously where you're going to throw, like location wise and stuff, is going to be how you're going to induce certain things. So versus jam is handy to have if you're in a bit of a pinch and you've got people on base, but it's not as important as something like prime time, which is like super handy to have. And what 4th pitch would you add with curveball, fastball, and EFS? So you got to imagine you've got one dead straight one, you've got a super slow dead straight top to bottom one, you've got a curveball which is, you know, depending on which arm you are, like either it's going to be breaking from left to right or right to left. I'd probably get something like some form of like slider sweeper, or maybe something like a sinker, possibly something like that, a fosh, something that's gonna show a different pitch direction. So it might look the same, but if you've got one thing already going, you've got 2 things going basically straight. You've got one thing that's going to go from side to side at a 45-degree angle, or at least like a 12-6. Well, not necessarily a 12-6, but you're going to have something that's going to go at sort of a 45-degree angle. If you can have something that's then like sweeping across as a 90-degree angle, that you could bend in and bend out of the zone, you're pretty much set after that. So obviously we've only got a certain amount of abilities that we can choose from at the moment. For me, something like Poise is going to be good because these are going to be newbies, and they're going to be giving up a metric ton of hits. It doesn't matter how good you think you are, even if you're going to be playing on the lowest difficulty, because they are crap pitches to begin with. Something like Poise is going to be dead handy, and if you can get Poise early and keep increasing it until you get to the point where it's like B or A, like my star player does, that's really going to help you out, because it's not going to degrade your reticle when you're pitching. So we can hope that we get this. Probably not going to get it. We got it. Brilliant. We've now got it up to C from a D, so we can slowly just keep improving that. I do like a sweeper. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just something that's just gonna just literally bend straight in. You can use to sort of keep the speed gauge up. There's often pitches I always think are like I'd have as like waste pitches as well. It's another reason why I have them, that I'm not using them to get a strike. I have them so I can reset the speed gauge, and then mess with the computer. The skip practice button is a super one to have. You will want to just keep an eye on their energy level, which is on the left hand side here. I have always read this wrong in that the green is like the top and the red is bad. But as you can see from this dude down here, it goes the opposite way around apparently. And that's not how I thought it. Or it doesn't. I don't know. I would have thought that the more bars that they've got, the better it is, and not the other way around. Because if you were to use an item like, say, typically I don't have one, but if you were to use a fatigue bottle, and their energy would then be going back up to the right hand side. So red, I guess, is good and green is bad. Like that dude's only got 3 bars of energy. These guys have all got 5 bars of energy. That's how I read it, at least. I assume that's right. I might be wrong. Someone can tell me in the comments I'm wrong. Yeah, I've always read it as more bars are better. Yeah, because like you use the item and it fills the bars back up. So why would it be like, it would be stupid if you're using a recovery energy drink and then all of a sudden they've got like red. It's like, oh, I've made it worse. I'm just going to reset the capture card again because it's been another... Christ, it's literally been 2 hours then if the capture card needs to be reset. 2 seconds. Do apologise. And then I'm just going to reset the energies real quick. Boop, boop. And that one, so they can actually play and make sense. Cool, right then, back to it. So skip practice is super handy to have. You either want to use it as the starting or the ender, but usually if you tell them to skip practice and then you do something afterwards with them, so we'll just do that. They're going to get a boost because they took some time off, and they're going to get a bonus instead. So as you'll see here in a sec when it pops it, teams instructed to skip practice and get some rest. Players all seem happy, which is good because it raises their morale as well, and they get their energy recovered. And it should come up and say, here, yeah, command icons can receive enhanced effects depending on the order you use them. For example, when you use a special training right after skip practice, it boosts a special training success rate. Too many combinations, I'm sure you'll figure out, but yeah, doing it that way, if you skip first and then let them train, because they've rusted up first, they're more likely to do better. And so, as you can see, they've got a boost for practicing this way around. So that's kind of like all you want to be focusing on, is just doing odds and sods just to try and like in the first year, it doesn't really matter. You just want to be focusing on just getting through the year, to be honest. I would say obviously playing as many games as you can, try and do as well as you can, but your first year is just kind of like setting a base, a foundation for what the following years are going to work like. And realistically, is versus lefty a good ability? Yeah, it's not bad to not have. It's handy because obviously, you know, there's as many. I think it's pretty well split, like 50-50 between lefties and righty batters in MPB. So you will see them quite often. But you will notice that certain teams will have more of a be more one-sided than the others. So it is useful against those. There's none of those sort of abilities are going to like negatively affect you. So anything that gives you a bonus against a player that potentially is like going to be useful, like versus lefty, and you've got the spare stats to use for it. Yeah, you may as well have it, even if it's lower levels for it. What was I saying? Yeah, so your first year is just getting through it and essentially laying that foundation down. One thing you can do to make your life 10 times easier and to potentially mean that you will do better and get a better team earlier, which I will show once we get to it in a second. Yep, clean and raise the morale up. Cool, we found a high-speed camera. Don't know why she found a camera, but whatever. Yeah, one thing I will say as well is that she says here, if we keep practicing without a day off, I'm afraid the players might stage a coup or mutiny or something. Select the commands icon, skip practice, or one with the special green icon to get rid of the player's fatigue. So, originally, I swear they've either updated that, but it used to say, like, you could almost skip without pressing anything, and you can't. You always have to use three cards, and sometimes you might have to use 5 cards when it's training camps and stuff, but it does kind of, is slightly confusing. Let's just do that. We just want to get to the lotteries. So again, we're going to choose the first year, and we are going to, all of this isn't particularly good, so like there's no point in them having hard hitting. The fucking up my words. Depending on how you want to play, certain abilities will also be handier to have. So strong hits when controlled by the CPU. If you're going to be playing the field highlights, then you might not you might be in control of them more times than the CPU is going to be in control of them. Whereas things like this are always going to be active, like aggressive fielding, durability, aggressive base running, and head first are always going to be active. So you've got to, you don't have to put that much thought into it, but like certain abilities are going to be more useful depending on the type of game. When you're in a game scenario, are going to be more useful to you than others. You got me to delete one of my star players, now restart my 2-way. You don't have to delete them, you just keep them. Didn't have to remove them from existence. This dude is a third baseman. He is crap across the board. So if we were going to do anything, personally, none of these really matter. So we'll go with aggressive base running, just because at least it's a 1-star and there's a very high probability that he's gonna get what he needs. They can voice their opinions all they want. I am in charge. We are training, and I let them skip practice the other day, so I don't know why they're being absolute wusses. You might want to increase our academics every so often. When it gets to the end of the year, they are going to have tests. If they fail those tests, not only is it going to lower their morale, but you might also potentially lose some. It might drop some of their abilities because they might lose some stats from being dum-dums. So, you know, use the academics cards whenever you can. But yeah, it's worth doing. What year do you think it's best to focus on special trainings? I'm always torn when it gives a year 1, 2, and 3. So for me, always first years. At the beginning, so like we're doing here, I would focus on first years. Obviously, those first years are then going to be second years in the second year. So if you've got ones that are really starting to shine and become like insane players, and they come up, and you've got them versus first years. Depending on where they are developmentally, you might want to potentially give them, but I would always say it's worth saving beforehand when doing special abilities, and also having a look at what that player's already got versus what you're going to have potentially the chance of teaching them. Because there's no point teaching say you've been teaching a first year over and over, and you've got a load of abilities, and now it's the second year with them, and they've come up. There's no point selecting them if the stuff that you've got left isn't really going to be useful or isn't really relevant compared to giving, say, a first year, a great ability to begin with that's going to boost them in the long run as well. I always think that there's like a plateau that you're going to reach with most players, where unless you luck out and get special abilities from cards or the shop or from events, that once they get certain things, you're kind of set with them, and you're better off giving other players the opportunity to learn new stuff to try and then improve the whole of the team, because eventually that second year is then going to go. Third year, you might only have them for half the year, and then you're back to square one again. So I would go that way around, I would say, personally. But again, that's my personal opinion. Like first years, when they're true first years. Oh god. Oh shit. God, that just ruined my ears. Theo, yo, thank you for the follow. Oh, we are so close to that 50 mark now. But yo, thank you for joining. Thank you for turning up. Good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We are just explaining, or I say we, I'm just explaining to the best of my abilities Hakkyu No Kiseki. After we fucking lost the Japan series. Well, we didn't even make it to Japan series. We tied in the fucking game against Tigers and didn't make it out of climax. Yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Do I know what the most important stats are in star player, like intelligence, communication, creativity? I find having low communication always hurts me. I feel like it probably is important with chatting with players and managers. I personally don't really care. I know that's probably not the answer you want. There's things like communication are like pretty good when, like, say there'll be times where, if depending on how good you are and what your star player rank is, you might get invited onto like TV shows and stuff. Like player that we were doing with, he kept getting invited to TV shows, but because he was crap at communication, he kept failing and making a dumbass of himself, like I do. So it's kind of 1 for 1, really. I don't think it matters too much, to be honest. Like, an even spread is as good as pumping in, but I think that there's there's not as much of an importance, because it really only affects like events as opposed to your actual gameplay as such and things. So communication, like you say, is good because it means you can talk to managers and other events. I think I did for at least a star player. I think I got our guy to have intelligence was like 1 extra 1, communication was 1 extra 1, and I think I pumped the rest into creativity. I think it might have been. Just because, like, it means that when you're doing like maybe some of your hobbies or other random events, there's a chance that the bonuses from them are a little bit more. I seem to get those events more often when you're a low star player than you will do when you're a higher star player. But short story long, I don't think it matters that much, so I wouldn't put that much sort of force effort to worry about it too much. It might make a huge difference. I've friggin' never noticed. Literally never noticed. You explain things much better than A Sally. I don't know. Like, I might do, I might not. Like, I personally don't think. I appreciate this. I've already said this before on a completely different a different stream, that I'm real bad at taking compliments because I'm British. I don't think I explain things particularly well. I think the difference is that I probably, like I'm doing right now, I ramble, and because I ramble so goddamn much, I end up going over the same point 4 or 5 times. And at least when I was in school, or any jobs that I've ever been to, having someone explain to me the same goddamn thing 4 or 5 times over makes it stick in my head. So I think I just end up doing that. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm better at explaining. I just think that I just repeat myself so, like I've just done 3 times now. I repeat myself so much. That's probably what it is, which is why this shit's been going on for almost 2.25 hours now. The 2A player I created is a 734 star level. Those are rookie numbers. Get that shit up to 900. Right, we're going to play a practice game. We could choose the 2 decent ones, because obviously we are going to be playing. We are crap ourselves, so it would make more sense to play one of them. But you got to remember that we chose Totori, and that was a low population, low school thing, which means that potentially this mid-tier team might be the best team in the actual prefecture. I've modded for this man for 8 years. Trust me, you're better. 16-year-old star level 34. He's just better. He just does it. Thank you. So we're going to choose the mid-tier, and I'll show you why. Primarily because of the prefecture we chose, but also because we're going to be a little bit cheesy with this. So that game is going to be up in. Where did it say? It's in, like, that's us now at the requested game. The practice game's all the way over here. So we got like 2 weeks. Whatever we do here isn't going to make a difference. We haven't got any items where we can deal anything with the buckets, but we can use that to increase our ship. So we've now got that, which is going to make our throwing a bit better, which will be good for defense and good for the pitches as well. We know that we want stamina up, so we're going to do that, and we'll get the fatigue recovery as well, so we can boost that going. Cool, thank you for the sponge bucket, very good. That'll be handy in a sec. We can't use it now, but it's always good that they give you one for free at the start.
That's how explaining that you can set per player. We've already done that crap. This dude's got a JoJo background, so happy days.
We're going to use the sponge bucket. It's only going to keep for like 10 days, I think, the ones that she gives us. Oh, 30 days. Brilliant. Spectate is a good one. You can watch a game between other teams. If you use that first and then try and use other abilities, you're going to get a bonus. They're going to get a buff from doing it. But you can see that we've got the practice game coming up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save. And I'm going to be a little save scumming naughty boy is what I'm going to be. Because we want a nice little boost from the start. So we're going to do this, this, and this. This is going to take us hopefully up to the practice game. So everyone's going to watch it, everyone's going to get a massive boost, and then we're going to get an extra boost for the efficiency. My controller's going to get low, and everyone's going to be practicing a little bit harder as well, and we won't have to worry about the rain. He's picked up a magazine. Hopefully it's not a naughty magazine, but they've increased their power. So, we can be a bit cheeky here. Alright brother, I'm going to go train up my team and try and win Koshien. I'll be lucking. That's absolutely fine, man. It's always good to see you. Appreciate it. So yeah, no, it's good talking with you, dude. But yeah, get that team trained up. Get them to that S rank like you saw earlier, and start smashing tournaments and getting those victories in. But yeah, good to speak to you, dude. And yeah, cheers for the luck as well, man. Right. This you can play the game. Any of you guys can play the game however you want. If you want a bit of a boost at the start, what you want to do, and the only one you should be worried about doing, is team gameplay highlights. Because we can choose the difficulty. If we choose a strategy, we're going to have to rely on these guys that are absolute goobers, that are so low stats, and we have zero trust with them. Even if we play that decent team, doesn't mean that we have like the greatest chance of winning. We do player focus. Yeah, we can focus on one player, but probably not going to work out too well. Spectate, shouldn't. Autoplay, yeah, I mean, it's no different than just doing one of the others and you just don't get to see anything. And game results, obviously, just skip. So we're going to do team gameplay. We're going to put it on rookie. Now, I know it says lower CPU difficulty results in less EXP gained. Normal CPU is going to result in a normal amount of EXP gain, and the higher CPU is going to result in higher XP gain. So you can do this one or two ways depending on how you want to boost yourself. You can either do it on rookie, where it's going to be a piece of piss, and you're going to have the batting assist is going to be high, pitching assist is going to be high, fielding is going to be like automatic, all of that crap's going to be on. You can mess with the settings in a second, but it does mean that while you've got a much higher chance of winning, you are going to get less EXP. Or you can bump it up to expert, where obviously you're going to get the most EXP, or you could do it for normal. It just depends on whether you are going to want to do potentially resetting if you lose, because you really want to win this game and all of the first bunch of games. Not so much the tournaments. The tournaments is a bit cheesy to do it with, I think, but these sort of games, you kind of, if you want a good start, you can do it with this. I really want to apologize to ask all the questions to interrupt. Just want about the right sort of my two-way player. I really do appreciate you so much, Checked. I love your attitude, helpfulness, friendliness, and yes, the accent. It's absolutely fine. Do not worry about it. It stops me from rambling. So yeah, do not worry. I wish you could do custom settings and do whatever you want. I wish I could import Power Pros players. I still don't know why after all these years we can't do that when they make the same game. So I'm going to do expert, and the only reason I'm going to do expert is because I'm going to fucking regret this. But even though we've got crap stats, we're playing against another team that is pretty much crap as well. We're both crap. Even though they're technically higher than us, we're both crap. You can go to the user settings. You can change a bunch of stuff as well. Some people might like it on digital, which is a little bit easier, so you don't have to worry about snapping a step back. Personally, for me, I prefer analog. Perfect pitch, no flashing, really off-putting to have it on. I don't need to see that. You can change all this stuff. When you put it on whichever difficulty you choose, you can't change any of your batting settings. So as you can see, batting system's normal, contact is off, thank God. I hate any form of assistance, it puts me off. And strike zone is going to be showing all. Pitching, you can change it to either the single or the classic. Catch a throwback, we don't need on, you can just turn that shit off. But the rest of it, we can't do anything with. Base running, I don't want it on assist. Personally, I want it on classic, so I'm in control because I don't trust the computer. Fielding, I want it on manual. Formation, don't worry about that. Basically, any of the rest of this you can just keep as is. Tactics, you can keep as is as well, so it's all manual for substitutions. Info, if you want any of this crap on. And for the CPU, you're not going to be able to touch anything because we obviously chose a difficulty. For the game settings, you can change it from your Japanese or English commentary. I like Josh. I have nothing against Josh. Put it on Japanese. And you can't change any of these as well, which is slightly annoying. But if we could put like the ball type on bouncy, it would be absolutely hilarious. The other bits, highlights, is just going to tell you what's going to happen when we get to certain things. So, as you've seen, we've got this set up, so hopefully we can win. We're probably not going to, and that's absolutely fine because we made a save before we did this, and that's the whole point of making that save, is to go back. It's not that losing this game is bad, and it's not that losing multiple games is bad, but to give... If you really want to have, like, to get like the most out of this and not have to grind so much, just winning a few games at the start is going to do you the world of good. I think 90% of the people who play this game are normal, just from what I've seen. Weirdly enough, so I watch a lot of Japanese streamers play, probably more than I watch English or Western people play, and they all use manager mode. Like none of them actually hit the balls themselves. Right, and so as we saw, we've got crap players. So all we're aiming to do is just get the ball out into the field. And I've just remembered that I've got all of the settings off, so I'm actually regretting this right away. And that should make it into the outfield. Drop. Not gonna make it. Manager mode would be way more difficult. You actually need to build a team. Yeah, that's pretty much why the Japanese players use it, because it's more like Icon 9 from Power Pros. It's a lot more sort of like the experience. They like the idea of being the manager, less about being the player. If they wanted to be the player, they would play star player or season mode. Okay, we're not going to beat that out. Okay, probably already regretting this. Really should just have put it on put it on friggin' normal. That's what I should have done. Bunting is one of the most cheapest tactics in this game. We don't have the speed to pull it off, stupidly enough, but if we did, this would be super handy to use. Right, and that's just a waste of a pitch. Holy shit, we hit the follower goal. How do we hit the follower goal? Is that just like super delayed? We finally hit 50 followers. Let's fucking go. Now we can do VIP things. That was like so delayed. I might even just reset this in a sec because like this pitch is crap. Right. No, yeah, that. Right, we'll just get it to this. Oh, this is gonna go horribly. The G fastball, we're gonna get taken deep. He actually took that, my dumbass. If I could pitch. Okay, yeah, this is probably what's going to happen. We're probably going to try to lose bad, so I might just auto-sim the rest of this in a second. We'll see how this goes. So he's going to try and bunt. Yeah, come on. Okay, at least we got one out. Who knows, if we can get out of this unscathed with a without giving up a run, maybe the auto might actually do us a solid. Never know. No, I can't pitch. That's perfectly fine. It's okay, I didn't want to pitch anyway. Shit. My guy. Please. Okay, that's fine. God, hurry up. There we go. Okay, that's dropping. Okay, that's one. And I've thrown it to the wrong player. I've been playing on veteran difficulty and star player. Feels like right balance for me. Veteran difficulty, medium speed. Yeah, I mean, as you saw at the start of my star player, we were somehow on spirits, which is really bad to play. I got my ass handed to me very quickly. Oh, see, now, if we had speed, we might be able to catch that, but we don't have speed. Oh, we do have speed. I threw it to the wrong player again. Okay, two. One we might be able to deal with one run. We might be able to lock out with that. If I can just keep it there and actually pitch properly. Come on. Oh, I pressed buttons way too quickly. Yeah, no, Saramura is not going to get that ball, and that's going to be another run scored. Okay, let's just stop this shit and just get out of it. That's very good. Right, autoplay entire game. Yeah. Yeah, oh, we got a run. Just the one? Dramatic comeback? Nope, giving it all. At least we can use this as an example of what not to do. So as you're going to see here, we're not going to lose any reputation because we didn't have any reputation. But as you see here, it says for unlocking decent reputation, win an official game or earn 3 wins against decent or higher opponents. So an official game would be like in the Prefecture tournaments or anything, or just winning 3 games against decent or higher, which is the one above the rank we are. And you can see we didn't really make that much much use of the stats because we didn't win. So pretty bad. Yeah, we didn't get anything. We only got a couple, like 900 points as well. So not great, but we did understand that dude's pitching, so we have learned some crap. I don't need to know any of that. Don't worry, we're gonna see that screen in a second anyway. So I'm just gonna reload. We're not gonna save. We're just gonna get the hell out of this and then just reload this crap back up again. Yeah, I'm up. For the sake of argument, and just so we can show what the difference is, I will try it on normal, and then if that goes south, we will go down to rookie. So we did that. Let's go. One thing you also see as well is that even though you can save scum like this, and you can do the exact same trainings, it is still RNG, and you can do that with everything, whether it's abilities. So I always say to most people, I again, I know I'm repeating myself, but because I say it on my streams, but don't let someone. This is so hypocritical because what I'm just about to say is basically the exact fucking whole thing with this goddamn video. Don't let anyone tell you how to play your game. Even though that's exactly what I'm doing. Don't let anyone tell you how to play the game, unless it's me, and I'll tell you how to play the game. But don't even listen to me, because I'm not always right. If you want to save scum, you save scum. If you don't want to save scum, you want to make the game super hard for you, you do it, whatever. You've bought the game. You play it exactly how you want to play it. Don't feel guilty about doing stuff. Don't feel that there's a certain way that you have to play. Don't feel anything other than a feeling of how do you want to enjoy playing this game. That's all that you should be focused on. I think that's always the biggest thing I say about this game and other games in general is don't hit the ball to the third baseman. Because if you hit the ball to the third baseman, it's a very, very quick out like that. But play it how you want to play, and don't worry about what others may think. Don't worry about what others may, fuck's sake, may say, whatever. There's always going to be people that will be like, "Oh, you're not playing correctly." Whatever, man. Like it's the same crowd that when, for example, Elden Ring came out. If any of you have ever played Elden Ring, if you use the mimic tier, it's like, "Oh, that's cheating because you're using summons." It's like, well, the game's put this whole new mechanic into the game. I've played the game, I've platinumed the game with and without the mimic tier. I've done low level runs, like same as I do low level runs in Bloodborne and other games like Resident Evils. I do like knife onlys and all this other crap. Don't let someone tell you, "Oh, we might make that." We're not gonna make that because we're slow as shit. Shit. But yeah, don't worry about what other people think. If you worry about other people think, you're going to be too focused on that as opposed to enjoying the game that you have played. Unless those people have bought the game for you, sat over your shoulder telling you exactly how to play because it's like their game, then tell them to sod off and you do you. That is my little soapbox rant for today. But I think it's true. Like, we might make that. Nice. You've got to be fucking kidding me. This team sucks ass. How could you not make that, man? It was up there for like 10 days. Let's try and bend this in on the corner. There we go. Oh my god, I was totally thinking Elden Ring. Yes, using summons is not cheating. The game is built around someone driving me nuts. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a feature in the game. Now, if you were summoning players into the game, that I'm going to tell you that you're a scrub and you need to get good, because I've never once summoned players in my game to help me beat those, because if I can't do it, then I don't want the help of others. So I will go back on my hypocritical view on that one. I got no problem being summoned into other people's worlds to help out, because if they want it, they want it. I just don't like help. But also, a lot of the summons in Elden Ring are actually pretty shit, to be honest. Like, yeah, if anything, they don't. Unless you use specific ones, you end up. How are we losing 7 fucking nil? You end up getting worse off than you do just not. Okay, right, 7-0 down. We're gonna have to pull our fingers out of our asses and not do hits like that. I should have just I should have not hit that ball. I should have just let it go and wait for my pitch. Oh, we're not gonna hit that. We'll hit this. We shouldn't have hit it. Quick question, lol. Is it a way I can set actual music for when I win a tourney in celebration animation? So do you mean like the school song? Do you mean that, or do you mean like you would have on like the main menus and stuff, like those sort of musics? Because you can change your different school songs. I think there's 4 you can flip between. But you can't choose anything other than the school songs. You can't have something else play in there. Right, we're just gonna reset again. I love that the whole point of this is how to explain shit, and I'm failing. I can't even. These guys are crap. It's not my fault. I always try to beat bosses out with my summon and then non-mimic summon, and then eventually using mimic. My last run I couldn't beat Melania and a few bosses in the DLC without summons. I find having a summon for Melania is actually more counterproductive than not having a summon, because she is just an aggro queen, and especially with her waterfowl downs, if you've got a summon there that pulls her to a area that isn't right in front of you, like that one move, you need her locked in on you so you can deal with the timing properly. If it's locked in someone else, it just makes it more awkward. You need to leave or 30 minutes. I'll be back in 30. So yeah, that's no worries, man. Again, thank you for stopping by. If I'm not on, I don't know what's the time. Shit, it's like 11:15. We will try to also wrap this up, because this is going to be a long ass YouTube video otherwise. Which I do apologise for anyone that is still watching on YouTube. I'm very sorry that I've probably not explained a lot of things, or have explained them, and I've also just accidentally hit the camera button on my phone. Right, we're gonna go to rookie so we can win this fucking game. Just be done with it. If we don't win it this time, fair enough. Whatever. We'll just go through. Okay, it's gonna be a curveball. Whatever, bro. Sweeper. God, I hate knowing what the pitches are. Right, bends a little bit. Fastball somewhere nice. Hitting with an F power hit is a real bad idea. A real bad idea, because there's more than likely it's not even gonna make it if I don't make good contact. Dude, just pitch the ball for me. Come on. Right, this shit didn't bend that much about there. Stay fair. Okay, I thought I saw a place to choose, like Twinkle to a Little Star stuff during play that cutscene. I know in the sound settings there is a load of options. You might be able to, But if it's the celebration at the end, it should just be the school settings. Oh, deep drive with an S power. God, they're so slow. We're all so slow. Come on. Alright, we made that. Alright, another F player. That's not going to bend in, so there's no point trying to... Curveballs, the one we just hit, which actually, that's not going to bend enough either. Oh, no, that's the outer edge. That is not a strike. If we can connect with that, though, that might bend in. Why did I swing at that? Dumbass. Just give me a cookie or something, man. Thank you. There we go. Stay fair. I swear to God. It's on the easiest setting. Get down. Go. One tip. People may or may not know. Mash L1R1 when you're running. For fuck's sake. I pressed triangle. I thought I was pitching, so I was pressing different buttons. Press L1 and R1 to run faster. Sake. That should stay fair. That might even go out. Oh. Come on, it's the only dude on the team that has a chance to actually get a home run. Put it in the... yes. God damn it. Make an error. God damn, why did I fucking accidentally press triangle to run? I swear to God. I just want this game over with. That to that. You gave him a strike when it was touching the edge. Why can't I have a strike? Yeah. Break it in. Cool, one down. Pitching wise, I know everyone's got their own theories. I tend to always pitch low because majority of the time the high school players will not be able to hit the ball deep if it's up high. Oh, we're on automatic fielding. That's annoying. That's gonna mess me up. I only tend to go high if I've got a good pitch. Just especially when there's people on the base path, because otherwise they have a chance of launching it for home runs and stuff. At least if it's low, more chance of it inducing as a ramble like that. So I tend to live in the bottom region. That wasn't a ball, that was a strike. That was a strike. That's a good pitch. That's a bad idea. Take that. Cool. Right, hopefully. There we go. So we're at 1-0. 1-all. Not good. Chance to score a run 1 on 1 out. F power's not great, but we know exactly what's coming and where it's going. So I wasted that. Probably, I'm just not. I'm just going to take a hit in my vape. I'm not even going to bother swinging at the curveballs if he's not going to throw me a fastball. Nope, I want this. Fuck's sake. Put my vape down quicker. I should be paying attention. That's what I should be doing. Alright, 1 on 2 out. I have, right, E power's even worse, and F contact. I'm gonna have to lock. I swear. It doesn't end. 1 on 2 out. It's given me all the chances in the world. I just don't have any players that can hit the ball. There we go. Right, that should get the extra run in. Cool. In the first innings as well, you can only score a max of 3 runs. So any inning after that, you can just keep hitting, which is a real handy thing to know. You can technically score 6 runs in a first inning if you were to get 2 runs scored first, get bases loaded, then hit a grand slam, and you can score 6. But usually, most of the times, you're going to be hitting three or so runs. That's going to swap you out. To even get to the chance of getting to set it up for a grand slam is kind of annoying as well. Go out. One throw me the ball. That's low. Come on, man. Cool. Right. We should be fine here. I'm just gonna bunt to get us out. That should be enough runs. He says as he gives up 2. Gives up 1. Right, now it's our ace, which is nice. I'm just mashing buttons, don't worry about me. Cool, he's got a curveball as well, which is nice and slow. It's fine, and then we'll drop a fork. This is a good pitch mix, I like this. This is the sort of pitch mix that I would want to work on. So now we're out of that. Stop giving me...
No, pitch is already gone. Not good. But you can see what I mean about the fact that we've already lost because they've all got such bad stamina. We're just burning through our bullpen straight away. But I wanted to use that pink-haired pitcher more, and if they had better stamina, we could have had them in the game for longer. So now it's going to make us do the final outs, which is annoying because I would just prefer it just play to the last out. But we'll just get this done. Cool. Should be an easy out. Nice, that's 1. Just get loads of pop outs. Nicer. Don't think that's going to happen. And having F and G pitches is not fun, so we've got a C pitch to end on. Should be an out. Cool, that's 2. That's 1. Please, at least. Go then, easy out. So hopefully, even though we lost that expert game, you saw that most of the team, not a lot of the team, got a lot of EXP. This is obviously from beating a much better team. We've already gone up much more. You can see that more players have got stats, but they've still only really gone up like one stat. So it didn't really make that much of a difference from playing on expert as it did on rookie. The difference is that we won, and our reputation has gone up, which is far more important because having the reputation in the long run is going to be beneficial for scouting players in the future or getting extra bits and bobs. We also got double the amount of performance points, which is going to be handy for using in the shop. And then this dude's also got his motivation up as well, which is great because it's then going to mean that he's going to be able to get play a lot better as well. Let me just have a look at my other notes of what I got left over here. So, realistically, that's I know overall I think I've kind of gone over most of the things, but that's kind of how you want to play, at least in the first year. Is there is nothing wrong in playing on rookie mode, making sure you can win games. If you save beforehand, you can always have another opportunity of winning if you end up losing. We could have saved and just auto skipped, and we could have just done that over and over and over again until we've won. That's probably the quickest way of doing it, and that's what the speedruns do, is that you end up skipping matches because obviously for a speedrun you want to play the game as fast as possible, but also it's quicker to reload in that than it is to play the game. There's no benefit of you playing over just skipping if the computer can win. Other than that, the other things I would say is when you're drafting, which we can't do at the moment, and I haven't got the card, and just to try and keep this from being any longer than it is, drafting much in the same way as when we were starting and choosing our prefecture. You will see the different colors. So like reds will be like pitchers primarily, yellows will be like batters, greens will be defense abilities. No, purple's special abilities, white is nothing, green is like fielding and shit. It's really down to what you are lacking in your team. So if, for example, as I said, you're always going to be given players that will be able to fit your positions for the most part. As I say, I've never not seen it not give me the positions that I might not have if third years are leaving or second, or but you're better off scouting for them yourselves. And Once again, if you save beforehand, you can look into different prefectures. At the start, you're only going to be able to look inside your own prefecture, which isn't, especially if you've chosen a prefecture like mine, like Totori, where it's absolutely tiny, you're not going to have that much of a selection of players to work through. They're not going to be high level, but the higher your reputation gets, then you're going to be able to scout nationally instead. So if you then remember the areas that had more players, then you can then see which areas you're going to do a little bit better in. Let me just save as well, because I can show you probably a little bit easier on the main screen for it. But scouting is one of those ones where it is down to your reputation as to whether the players will come to you, but also what star level that player is. So the difficulty, much the same as abilities, will determine the likelihood they will come to you. So if you've got a sort of like a mid-region school and you are in like a high reputation and you're trying to get like a 4 or 5 level player, then you've got a higher chance of getting them than you would do if you were a lower reputation, like we have at the moment, trying to get like a level 4 or 5, unless you are doing really well. So even though your reputation is low, if you've won a lot of games and you make it far into tournaments and stuff, then that will boost your chances of you getting that player. Save before you do it, so you can check which regions have what players. It is going to randomly generate those players each time, so it won't always be the same players. It's going to pull from a pool of players. So, but it will allow you to see what you potentially can get. It's usually going to be the same-ish sort of things. And you can always scout the same region multiple times. So if you see a region, you go, I don't know which one of these 2 players I'd like to choose between. Then just remember, and it's going to tell you that you've already scouted in that region before, but remember that, and then the next time you get a scout card, you can always go back into that region and try and get the other player. So if we were to go to, say, Gunma, you can see here, nope, I want the pro, I want the pro one, I want the pro one. So if you're trying to get reincarnated players, because any of the players that are in this game can be essentially reincarnated, is what it used to be called in 2024. I'm not sure what it's called in this, like regens or pro aspiring players, or that they model their playstyle after a player. One of those. You can certain regions will have specific players because that's where they're from. So for example, if you wanted Shohei Ohtani, you would need to scout in the region that he's from, which I do not remember, and I'm not going to pretend that I would know either which way, but you would need to scout the region he's from to be able to potentially find a regen of him. So as you can see here, we've got loads of players that are ones that we've scouted and we know of. So for example, Yu Darvish, he is from Miyagi. So if you were to scout Miyagi, there is a chance you will get a picture that is have him as an aspiring player. So essentially like a regen version of him. You might want to go for... God, I mean, I know players, but like... Who's like the big ones? So, like a Yamamoto, you would then go for Miyazaki, and then you've got a chance of finding a player in the scout that is a regen of him. And again, save scum, reload it, you can keep doing it over and over again. So if you see a picture and it's like, oh shit, like he's got a pro aspiring player, the only thing is you will not know which player it is. It's not going to tell you that he's inspiring to be like Yamamoto. It's not going to tell you certain things. But the higher your reputation as well is also going to mean that you're going to get more details about the player that you're looking at. So it might just say like, for pitchers, it might say what's their fastball like, what's their breaking balls like. For batters, it's going to be like, what's their average like? What type of hitter are they and stuff like that? What's their fielding like? It's also going to tell you how far they've gotten in prefectural or national tournaments as well. So you can use that to gauge whether that player is actually any good or not. And just because a player is a level 4 or 5 star as well does not necessarily mean that they are going to have good stats. They might have like one good stat in something, but it also might mean that they are crap in everything else. So it's really dependent on, I would choose personally position that you are going to need over the players, unless they are like a 5-star pro aspiring regen going to be a player.
that is the position you need. Because if you've got a bunch of players already in that position you've been training up, then it's cool, but they might not get any playing time, and it's kind of like you've wasted a whole year when you might need so I needed one season, I needed a shortstop. So regardless of it, I kept searching for a shortstop because that's what I needed, and I passed over other players that I could have got because it wouldn't have benefited the team, and I would have just got some crap player either which way. I lied, I'm back. Thank you so much, Check. It's fine. I didn't ask about the two-way stuff. Maybe dumb question because I assume it's there. MPB has the Otani rule. Sort of. They haven't got the Otani rule the exact same as what MLB does. As off the top of my head, again, I'm not 100% on this because there isn't any other two-way players in the system anymore. I think there's some coming up through high school that are two-way players, but off the top of my head there isn't any, so they don't have the rule anymore, not in the same sense that they have it for MLB. They kind of just let them do it if they want to or not, but because they're going to be getting rid of the universal or adding the universal DH, then it's not gonna matter that much more. The Prospi shop, I'll just show that real quick as well. If you watch, it's coming anyway, it's just turn it on, yeah. If you've watched my video of how to make a crap ton of VP, then you can always go into the expansion items and go buy a load of stuff for Hakkyu. So you can buy a crap ton of dirt, you can buy a load of sponge buckets, snow shovels, maintenance kits, schedule books. Positive thinking, that was the one that I wanted to say was the one that turns the skulls into note marks, super handy to have. And secret recommendation as well is for boosting the scout of one player, so at the end of the year there is a higher chance that they will get drafted. But if you watch my video of how to make a bunch of VP, where you're basically making 26,000 VP every minute, you can easily get hundreds of thousands of VP to buy yourself a load of these items. So if you did want to give yourself just an even easier start as well and increase stuff, you could buy a load of the dirts. You won't be able to use black dirt until you're up to a certain level, but you could buy a load of the white dirt and then get a load of the maintenance and sponges and stuff just to make your life a little bit easier as well for it. No, it's not a shot at you, GG. No, far from. You didn't spend time basically getting like millions of VP and buying a load of stuff. Hey, it's my fault. I gave you the ability of doing it and showed you how to do it. So, if there's anyone to blame, it's myself, because I showed you after the Japanese people showed me how to do it. I told you. So, it's not your fault, it's my fault for giving away secrets. And that's the other thing I'd like to explain real quick as well. I know I've said multiple times, if I don't know something, I won't try and pretend that I do. I will try and always give, to the best of my knowledge, the ability. But if there is anything that I know, I will always try and share it. I think there's a few people that are like almost trying to like keep stuff secret, which I think is a bit weird, and seems a bit odd to do so. Rather, I don't know if it's just to try and like make more content out of it, or it's to, there's not really any secrets that need to be kept in this game. So, if you have any more questions, you've made millions and billions of perfect games, exactly. If you've got any more questions, whether it's about Hakkyu, Star Player, Live Scenario, Live Championship, I am not going to give you any advice on, because I do not play online. I think anyone watching or playing this game can probably work out how an online mode works. I don't play online because I'm crap. But any of the other modes, if you have any further questions for it, then follow me on Twitter or X. Send me a message on there. Go on to any of the videos. Go on this video and drop a comment. I'm not saying it to chase numbers. I'm not saying it to do any of that crap. But I try and respond to each and every one of you that have ever left me a comment, whether I can help out or not. It's just that time is not a kind beast to me, and I don't have as much time. I know I've been sat here for streaming for almost 4 hours, so it's kind of hypocritical again. I pretty much, I think, probably one of the biggest takeaways that any of you guys can make is that I'm a hypocritical dumbass. But
if I spent 4 hours making a video compared to 3 hours of me speaking like I've just done, that video wouldn't come out until next month. So this is going to come out hopefully in the next couple of days from when I've recorded it live. So it's going to be a lot easier to follow. I do apologize, it's probably at this point a bit late to say it's probably not going to be chaptered. You're probably going to have to scrub through and have a look for stuff because I can't remember what the hell I've been talking about. But sorry, basically, I guess. It's not my fault. But the whole point of doing this live was so it would be easier for me to just go over a bunch of stuff, and if anyone had any questions, I could answer them on the fly rather than waiting for those comments to come in. But if you do have more comments, then just drop them, and I will do my absolute best to try and help out where I can. I will try and put in the description below in this video as well, I will try and put some of the old guides and Google Docs that both myself and Popo made to try and help you guys understand. My guides and Popo guides are from 2024-2025 game. They are converted from Japanese. They are not... Some of the things, terminologies and names of abilities and stuff have changed since it's come into English. It's probably easier. You might be able to work out what they are. But it's one of those things where they are there to be used. However, as I've said right at the very start of this, there is also a bunch of other people that have made guides. So if you have a look on YouTube, if you have a look on Reddit, if you have a look on just Googling professional baseball, ebaseball 2026, you will find a load of people that have done tremendous amount of work that I wish I could honestly remember all of their names. But I think that any and all of them deserve any of the credit and all the support that they've done to help the community to bring about this game to a wider amount of people, to help them enjoy it, which I hope they're doing it for the same reasons that I do it, which is I just want to see more people play this and more people enjoy it. I know it sounds soppy and I know it sounds a bit lame and pretentious, but I'm never going to be the big guy and I'm never going to be making bank from this. This is just something I do and I enjoy it, and I enjoy it so much that that's why I started making videos. Simple as that. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. Is probably the easiest way of closing this. I will let you guys in on a little secret for those who stay around probably past the point where most people from YouTube have probably switched off, I'd imagine. So I ordered a few things from Japan, as I am one to do, because I know no self-control whatsoever. One of the things that I've ordered from Japan, I will see if I can bring it up real quick on the interwebs, on a tab. It is called... Yep, that's nice. Can I have the friggin... Yeah, we'll use that. Why not? Screw it. One of the things that I have done is I have, if I could find my, oh, it's that one. There we go. Oh god, that's so friggin' tiny. I have bought more of the Dream Order games. For those who don't know, this is a MPB trading card game. So it's not like Topps trading cards. It's not like you'd have like proper baseball cards. This is like a TCG game where you actually you can make teams and play against other people. There are, however, like chase cards, autograph cards, holos, all this other crap. I've got far too many baseball cards, and my wife will tell you that I'm not allowed to buy any more, and she's quite right in that respect, which is why I only really buy singles and stuff. But I thought a fun thing to do would be like an unboxing, do like a rip of some of these cards, because also I think it's something that's cool that I don't think a lot of people know about. So potentially tomorrow, if I can work out a way of making the camera look at the table, or figure out getting another table or some shit, I've got a whole box ready to go of these that we can open on stream, and then have a look at them. You guys can see what it's about. So that's going to be something fun to do. I just thought it was very cheap for me to do anyway. So thankfully it's not cost me a load. But I just thought it's a fun thing. So probably going to do that tomorrow to like maybe start the stream. And then I don't know. I will take suggestions. I'm probably going to do Grand Prix or live scenario, one of those two. We've done Hakkyu, we've done Star Player, season not the biggest fan of. We could create a crazy, see if we could get like max points in spirit mode. That's always fun. We could do a challenge of, like I've done before, of playing the best team versus the worst team and seeing if we can even get a hit in a game. Spoilers, it took me like 4 hours last time. But Grand Prix is super fun, and it's going to be the closest thing I'm going to have to my ballpark, considering we don't have that in this game. And live scenario, I've got a bunch that I need to catch up on because I haven't been playing it regularly enough to keep doing them on the daily as they go up. So Grand Prix I think will be quite a fun thing to do. But if you've got any suggestions of what you would like to see, if you've got any suggestions of what modes you'd like, if you've got any comments, if you've got anything whatsoever, let me know. I'm all ears. There is also the thing of playing other baseball games. You know, I've got fucking all of the Power Pro games. But I've got other Japanese baseball games as well, like we had before. I would just like to keep playing Prospi for the minute while it's still new. Not necessarily because it's like popular, because unfortunately it is starting to like that sort of first month, like ooh, shininess is kind of waning off it. But I think for the most part, the people that want to see it, there still needs to be an output on the internet for people who want to watch it. So I'm gonna be doing that basically. But yeah, if you've got any suggestions, let me know. I'm all ears, and I will quite happily take any of your suggestions as to what modes or games or anything that you guys might want to play. Other than that, I think it's probably me done for this evening, to be honest. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my lecture, my TED Talk for the last 3 hours. And again, if you people from YouTube are still here because I haven't cut the video properly or whatever, apologies, but thank you as well. And I hope that this answered the majority of your questions. With any luck, as you saw, you can get S-rank teams, you can get amazing players. So you just need to put the work in, and just a bit of forward planning will get you there. But let's try and find someone to raid, because it's always nice to send a party across to other people, especially when it's 11:15 in the evening. It is a weekend, so it's not so bad. But yeah, let's have a look, see who is playing. Well, realistically, there's only really one way we're going, and that's going to go raid Sally. Sally or I Sally? I'm reading it as if like it's like Scottish, but I'm also noticing there's double E, so that's kind of my fault. We'll go raid him. But cool, as I say, thank you very much again. I hope you've all enjoyed tonight's stream, and I will catch you all tomorrow for the next one. Peace out, boy. Oh yeah, it's that other thing where I press the raid button, it doesn't automatically swap me over. But it does? Or it doesn't? I don't fucking know. One day I'm gonna get it right. But not today. Alright, catch you all later. Bye!